Okay, so I just bought a brand new mic, so I'm hoping the quality when I'm recording this stuff is actually a lot better than using just, AirPods and hoping that would translate to anything, but actually it didn't, so I'm hoping this is actually much better. Anyways, y'all, on that note, welcome back to the channel, and today we are breaking down a few moves that really happened over the last like a week and a bit with the Metro Magic. We saw Jack Aigner officially retire from MLW. This is something I actually foreshadowed. Cue that clip. We have seen Ty Fresnick and Levi Fleer kind of take over as the co-host for the podcast, and it's almost like Tommy Coughlin and Jack Aigner are letting this new wave of youth kind of take over MLW in a sense. And in that case, I'm going to go ahead and say that both Tommy Coughlin and Jack Aigner are potential retiring candidates for this upcoming MLW season. And then RJ Walgate now stepping up to be the captain in his place. I believe now the youngest captain since Daniel Schultz back in, I believe, 2020. We're just going to be going over the 10-year, it was a 10-year career for Jack Aigner, breaking down season by season and also seeing how he was more of an odd year merchant rather than a even year merchant. Like we'll look at how awkward his stats are in that case, but let's just quickly, break down the career of Jack Aigner. Kicking things off now in 2016, this was his rookie year where he was brought in as the Preds third man by Alec Warda. So that was a roster of Alec Warda, Brendan Russell, and Jack Aigner. And in that rookie season, he batted 235. He had an OPS of 925, 2 home runs on the season. Like he actually performed very well for a rookie coming into the league. Still a lot of, energy brought by the guy, a lot of power with the bat. Like there was a lot of good things to come with Jack Aigner. Moving on to 2017, he did actually kind of regress a little bit here. This was not really that great of a season for Jack. He batted 182 with a 669 OPS. He was hitting for power, 5 home runs, 9 RBIs. Like we've all seen recently that iconic video again of him hitting that walk-off home run in that, I believe it was an 8 inning game against the Western Wildcats. He had a few highlights here and there, but he kind of regressed backwards and it didn't really look that great. Preds had gone ahead that season, and that's when they had traded for Ryan Crouch to bring in a legitimate ace on the mound. But still, in that time, Jack Aigner was still a force at the plate. He had a really good bounce back here, mind you, batting 396, 8 homers, 20 RBI. Like he was straight up mashing the ball that year with an OPS over 1400. When you're looking at Jack Aigner 2018, he really stood out on that team. And I believe that's why Kyle went ahead and figured between his skill at the plate and his personality, he would be the founding captain of one of the next expansion teams in 2019, the Metro Magic. This was a year 2019 where pitching was ruling the league. However, in that year, Jack Aigner was still able to bat 367. We forget how good of a hitter Jack was really during his prime with an OPS of 1304. I'm looking at the stats here. I got 7 homers, 17 RBIs. Like this dude was absolutely mashing the ball, and there's a reason why. Again, as much as the pitching was needed for the Magic this year, Kyle Hook, we will always remember Kyle Hook. Jack Aigner being as good as he was at the plate was a huge influence as to why the Magic somehow made the playoffs and upset the Western Wildcats in clinching that last spot in the AL. And even though they lost in the ALDS, with the way Jack was hitting, there was only so much more. Like there was only good things to come for the Magic in 2020.
Who is this guy? Rookie. God, he's got 20 years younger in one day.
This is where the odd year, even year Jack Aigner's stats really start to pick up. We notice the trend here. Jack Aigner only batted 123 this season. He only had 2 homers, 8 RBIs. Really not that great, unfortunately, this season. Jack really did not perform to the standard that we expected of him based on his previous 2 years of straight up mashing the ball, hitting very well, high slugging percentage, high OPS. That we didn't get that this year, and that's kind of why the Magic wins-wise took a big step back. Now in 2021, he did only bat 194, but again, the power was there. 3 homers with an OPS over 900. Like you can see that year, like every other year, you're going to get an Aigner who's heavily producing at the plate, whether it's for contact, for on base, for power. Like you're going to get in that odd number year, you're going to get a very solid 2 or 3 hitter in your lineup in the form of Jack Aigner. I should also go ahead and mention that as the captain of the Metro Magic, he went ahead and again won Manager of the Year in 2019 for getting his team to the playoffs. And then in 2021, because he executed the Trevor Bonham trade, which propelled the Magic to their best season, reaching the ALCS, that is why they ended up giving him the Manager of the Year for that as well. It was nothing short of disaster in 2022 for the Metro Magic, and the captain's stats himself, that just reflects all of it. Only batting 150. The OPS was down to 442. No homers this season for Jack, and that really just showcased right there the struggles that this guy had. And again, that was a 2-13 year. The Magic were regressing, but he did end up trading away Jason Chadwick for 2 future picks. So with that being said, at least the Magic have the building blocks for what ended up being one of the biggest turnarounds in the history of MLW with the 2023 season. Looking at the stats here, the 10-5 Magic are a very, very interesting team because in this season they got propelled by RJ Walgate's pitching. Again, a great draft pick. Again, executed a great deal there. You got Grant Miller through the draft as well. Jack Aigner, only 140 batting average, but he was mashing another 3 homers on the season for him. Again, he's got more power. He connects with the ball better in odd number years. I don't know why. But however, in those playoffs, the Magic still went all the way. He had some key moments, some key homers, key bangerangs in that playoffs. You got to remember that they went down 2-0 against the Eagles. So how did Jack Aigner guide the ship? How did he get those guys to come back, claw back, and win the series 3-2? Can't do anything but credit that team for battling back from being down and being held to a deficit that some people consider very difficult to come back from. In 2024, Aigner literally did not hit the ball once. Like, I'm not even going to show highlights for this one. He didn't hit the ball once. A 412 OBP and by consequence a 412 OPS. He did not hit the ball, and in that same season, the Magic had like zero hitting depth behind Grant Miller. They got exposed in the playoffs by Drew Davis just walking Grant Miller every time. Totally understand that decision from him because they were just not that good in the playoffs, not good hitting all season as a whole. And now again, looking at 2025, his final season in MLW, he batted under 100. He had a couple homers, but you could just tell that, as the season had gone on, his involvement just became a little bit less. Also because with the Pipe It Up podcast, same thing, a little bit less. Like, you notice that over time, he was just becoming less and less involved in the league. Totally understandable because the guy literally has a wife and a kid. Like, it was going to be a matter of time before he stepped down. He's, just retired. And then it hit last week, December 14th, 2025, when the announcement was made official and Jack Aigner would be retiring from the league. So overall, it's been a very up and down career for Jack Aigner. A lot of highs, a lot of lows. He ended up winning a World Series in 2023, was a multi-time manager of the year. He executed some good deals, some bad, but when all is said and done, there was a manager there who really just tried to put the best players on the field, tried to put the best possible team out there, and at the end of the day, the Magic came home with a championship in 2023. So great for Jack, and happy retirement to him. And now, when we want to go ahead and look at RJ Walgate, this is a player who clearly seems so dedicated to whiffs. This guy, I don't think he's missed a series in MLW in all 3 years he has been in the league. Again, he's a very young kid. The kid is 17 years old, and it seems that I would have personally maybe gone with Ackerman as the captain because he was actually there at every series last year as well. He's been very dedicated year in and year out. Feel like he'd be more composed. He'd be able to weather the storm a bit better, but maybe RJ proves me wrong here. However, overall, this is still a very young pitcher with a lot of energy. You look at the way he plays, very tenacious. He's gotten some more plate appearances this year, so he has seen MLW pitching, but he was a force to be reckoned with. He had a sub-1 ERA. Like, as much as the Magic missed the playoffs, I definitely think he should have been one of the guys in the Cy Young conversation. I mentioned it last week in the awards video. I think it's an interesting decision, but I do like the future of the Magic. They may need a little bit more. They may need 1 or 2 more depth pieces. Who knows with Grant Miller, Trevor Bonham, and Jordan Curdy if they're going to be around in 2025. But if they aren't, then they still have Brady Pearson, John Paul Gunn, RJ Walgate, and AJ Ackerman. Like, those are the 4 guys that I think can still get wins for you when needed, but you're lacking the critical depth there. If Grant Miller isn't fully available, that can maybe take you on a small playoff run. But again, we'll see because we've seen crazier things happen in MLW. So when all said and done, congratulations, RJ, because I remember when he was drafted. I remember the kid at like 14 years old when he got into the league. So the fact that he's somehow here and somehow a captain after only a few years, it's kind of impressive. We'll see what happens with the Metro Magic in 2025, and happy retirement and farewell to Jack Aigner. On that note, guys, I want to thank y'all so much for watching. Let me know how the mic quality is because I honestly hope it's better. I did spend some money on this. Let me know your opinions on how the Magic are going to do in 2026. On that note, I want to thank y'all so much for watching this vid. I'm going to see y'all next time. Peace out.